Alright guys, it's AJ here at the House of Masks, and today we are in the Sanctuary, and that is because today's video is going to be a full mask room update. Today I will be giving you guys a full walkthrough of the main mask room, the Sanctuary here at the church, the new building for the House of Masks. Although I don't necessarily think that we can call this the new building anymore, because next month will be 1 year of having the church, which is crazy because honestly it feels like 2 months tops. Where does the time go? But I figured that right now would be the perfect time to do a full update, because not only are we coming up on the 1 year anniversary of me getting the keys to this place, but we just also kind of haven't been touching on this type of content lately anyways. I wanted to do this to show you guys exactly how the mask room sits at the moment, because we do have a milestone coming up, but also because it's in a really good spot right now. And I also wanted to shoot a full mask room update right now because I am definitely ready to get back into the weekly Wednesday update videos where we are constantly updating and upgrading things here at the building. And I figured that if I did shoot a nice big mask room update, and I mentioned bringing back weekly Wednesday update videos to you guys, that this would help kind of keep me accountable for making those weekly Wednesday updates happen. We haven't done one since September, and the reason for that is because we got to where we kind of needed to be to have the church presentable before the big church warming party. And then as soon as that was over, it was Halloween season. So the channel was just in full swing. We were on the go constantly doing all sorts of unboxings and Halloween huntings. And then of course, Halloween season ended, but it was the holidays. So I was doing all sorts of holiday stuff. Well, fast forward to today, and I have spent the better part of 2 months being extremely sick and barely being able to make any videos at all. So the return of the weekly Wednesday update series is definitely long overdue, and I figured that this would be the turning point to getting back to that. I definitely have some big changes planned, especially for the Sanctuary, so I figured that this would just be a great way to kick it off. So with all of that being said, welcome to the first, and as of right now, the only Sanctuary update of 2025. Now, I'm gonna take you guys off of the tripod. We are going to touch on pretty much every part of the room. We will not be talking about Dinos, and we will not be talking about the Red Room or the Horror Room. Both of those are kind of separate entities on their own. I only want to focus on the main Sanctuary, so videos on those spaces will come, but they will come a little later down the line, and it will probably be the same sort of situation where I just really need to get motivated to touch on those areas, and I will use some sort of update to kind of kick off that little separate series or that little separate area as far as the weekly Wednesday updates on those places go. So, enough of me talking. Let's go ahead and get you guys off of the tripod and start making our way around the Sanctuary, okay? Enjoy! Alright, so we are entering the Sanctuary from the Red Room, from the Horror Room, which, as I mentioned, you guys will get a completely separate, totally dedicated update at some point in the future. But for right now, we are focusing on the Sanctuary, and just a heads up, I have not done any sort of tidying up or cleaning for this video. I wanted you guys to see exactly what the Sanctuary looks like on a regular basis, so I have not put anything that is sitting out. For instance, these boxes right here, I haven't hidden them or put them up anywhere. I haven't even swept the floor. So what you see is what you get. I felt like that was a little more authentic and true to what was going on here. So as you can see, it is in pretty good shape. This is pretty much only used for videos. So we have my filming set up right there on the mini ramp. And then on Fridays, we have a skate night on the mini ramp. So that gets moved right over there in front of the wall, and we are able to skate the mini ramp. But any other time, it's usually sitting right there so that I can just come in here, film my videos, and then go out to the studio area to get those edited. So we come in, we are immediately turning right, and we are going to be taking a look at this area first, and then working our way around the room counterclockwise. So we are starting over here in the kind of miscellaneous theatrical band area, and then we will move on to the Buckethead wall, and so on and so forth. Alright, so section 1 of the Sanctuary is going to be this little sliver of wall that fits right in between Dino's mask shop and the very, very messy, very unfinished Red Room, the Horror Room, whatever. As you can see, I wasn't lying. It is an absolute mess right now. There are masks and bags and props and extension cords and totes and trash cans and very unfinished shelves and all of that good stuff in there. So I definitely want to do an update on this to get me back in the groove on getting the Red Room back together and just continue getting that going, because there for a while we dedicated a few episodes to that and we were really killing it. So I'm very excited to get back into that. But that is for another time, as I've mentioned 100 times in this video already. But the first section of the sanctuary is going to be this little area right here that doesn't really have a name or a theme, aside from the fact that this is a spot for a lot of random musicians and bands that are theatrical that I don't necessarily have another real spot for. This was very thrown together before the church warming party just to get this stuff out of boxes and to get it out of the way and to have it displayed so that people could see this stuff, because I do really love Swollen Teeth, and I do really love Wes Borland, and I love Les Claypool, and I love Clowncore, and whatever else is over there. I just didn't have a dedicated section for it, or the collections aren't big enough to justify a dedicated section for it. So we put this together, and this is very temporary. I definitely want to get all of these things into a spot that feels right and doesn't feel so rinky-dink, but for right now, this is it. So we've got all kinds of stuff over here. We've got some Psychotic Symphony masks. We have a couple of stage-used Wednesday masks that he gifted me last year. We've got the Swollen Teeth section, Clowncore, Les Claypool, Wes Borland. We've got a ghost mask up there. Crazy, right? And we have some American Monster masks and memorabilia that my buddy Tyler hooked me up with late last year. And like I said, this is very unfinished. It is what it is. I do think that the shelving, for the most part, will stay the same, but everything that's on the shelves is going to get changed around and moved and put into the right areas. And then eventually, we will add shelving above it. We will take shelving all the way across the door frames there and so on up to the ceiling. And I might even take that bottle down that someone in Mall definitely flipped up there during the church warming party, but I've left it for right now because I do think that's funny. But whatever, there is section 1, and I originally built this section thinking that we would have a spillover of Buckethead stuff that went above the door and then came down this wall. But it turns out that all of my Buckethead stuff actually fits on the shelves that we put to the right of the stained glass window. So that is Buckethead land, which is the next section that we are going to cover. So here we have Buckethead land, and again, this is a section that I go back and forth with because I am really happy with how the shelving itself turned out. I think that everything on there looks really good together. Buckethead had this weird way of just using all of the coolest stuff that you wouldn't think was cool if you just saw it on its own, but since he used it and made it cool, it just worked. Everything worked. And all of this random, cool, old, vintage horror or basketball or Michael Jackson or whatever it is stuff just goes together so seamlessly for some reason, even though it shouldn't. So let's say, for instance, we have a neon bird creature right next to a really cheap, not so great Michael Myers mask from the early 2000s. Neither of those things really mean anything, but the fact that Buckethead used them, they look so good together up there with severed heads and skull masks and Texas Chainsaw Massacre stuff. So I really like the way that the shelving units came out. Obviously, I do want to finish this little section right here. That top shelf there has a lot of stuff that's a bit too tall to fit in any of the other little shelves here. So I would love to finish that out by getting some more bigger Buckethead props to put up there, but that will only happen with time as I find certain things. And then eventually I will have some framed items up there, different posters and stuff like that to kind of fill out the rest of the wall, the little gap that goes between these items and the ceiling there. But the part of Buckethead land that I am not super content with is this little area right here. Now, obviously, this is for the bigger items. We have 2 life-size Bucketheads. We have one of the Buckethead props that is displaying one of the rain ponchos that Buckethead is pretty notorious for wearing back in the 90s. We have my Chipson right here, and all of these things look great. I just don't know if they look exactly how I want them. Unfortunately, this is the only way that they fit back here. And as I'm saying that, I'm realizing that this dude got turned a little bit. He's kind of off kilter because this Herbie should be pointing more outward and kind of symmetric with how this one is doing his thing. But it is what it is. I mean, it works for right now, and I am sure that I will find a way to change that in the future to be a little happier with it, but it is what it is. As I mentioned, this is just what you're seeing, and obviously at some point in the future, I don't know if that means a month from now or 6 months from now or 2 years from now, we will make this a project and get that taken care of in a weekly Wednesday update video. But this is what this corner of the room looks like right now. Looks pretty cool, and I definitely like the way that it looks with Dino's shop being opened. I do want to change the light in there, but you can kind of see that it all just works. You've got masks, and then back there, you've got masks. And typically, in the summertime, I leave all of these doors open so you can see a little bit more. But I am totally good with leaving those closed for the time being, especially until we get the rest of the display done, because by the time that we get that done and we open those doors again, you'll be able to see all sorts of different lights. That TV in there will be on. It will be a totally super different vibe from what we have right now, and I am super excited to see what that looks like. So, this is the true right side of the room. Now we can focus on the middle section, which is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it's just a mini ramp, a literal dream come true in front of probably my favorite part of the church, the stained glass window. Now, obviously, we have a little setup here with a television so that we can come in here and we can watch skate videos to kind of get stoked to skate on Friday nights. And then I have my little shooting setup right here, and I leave this right here almost the entire week. The only time that this setup right here gets moved is to right over there on Fridays when we have our Friday skate night. So we dedicate the evening to skating. This gets moved, but any other time, this is right here so that I can just come in here, put the camera on the tripod, shoot my videos, and then I go out to the studio area to edit those videos. But I do like this little setup still. This is kind of always the idea that I had. I remember drawing kind of the concept for this after the first time that I came out and looked at the church, and it is exactly what I thought it would be. I may end up replacing this couch because I don't like that this ottoman sticks out so far, and if I just got rid of that and I got a little couch like this minus the ottoman, we could push all of this in. I could probably get rid of this coffee table right here, although it is cool to have a mini ramp in front of your mini ramp, and we've got matching mini ramps, so kind of cool. But yeah, dude, that is the main focal point of the room. It's definitely my favorite thing to like photograph or shoot videos of. It's just so cool. Like everything about this works, even though it shouldn't. We got my palm tree, we've got this, we've got the mini ramp, we've got the shelves on either side. It just is such a cool visual and just a really cool reality check every time I walk in here. Like, yo, I have a mini ramp in my own church in the sanctuary full of masks. You could take these sentences any sort of direction, and it's always going to sound cool. So yeah, even saying it right now, I'm just like, what are we talking about? This is just so sick. So there you go. The main focal point of the room, the stained glass, the mini ramp, the little hangout area, what have you, and the little shooting area. So we do have a smaller area behind the couch here, and this is my little dedicated Mushroomhead section with some stage-used items from different bands. We've got a Convalescence stage-used Timmy. We have a few stage-used Fart Barf masks there, but the masks up top are all very special stage-used or kind of band given or band associate given real deal masks. This was given to me by David Greathouse late last year when we visited his studio up in Northern Ohio. This was given to me by Aiden Kerr. This is stage used for, I think, an entire like European tour, which is pretty cool. This was given to me by Perry's Music Museum. I do believe that that is like a stage used, I forget what he told me exactly that was, but it definitely has some stage use, you can tell. We've got a stage used Skinny Bully along with the stage used coat that he wore, both with Mushroomhead and with some other projects like Jeffrey Nothing solo stuff. That was also donated by Perry's Music Museum, so shout out to Perry. And then we've got another little bully down there that's been signed by a few members of the band. And again, it's just a little thrown together area. I did what I could to kind of get these pieces displayed and get them kind of up and out of the way for various things, like when people come over and they want to take pictures of the place. I just wanted to make sure that these guys got some shine and weren't just being kept in boxes until I could display them. So we got the little rinky dink Walmart shelf setup back here, and it works for what it is right now, but obviously I'm running out of room, and I eventually want everything in here as far as the shelving units goes to be custom made. I really like how custom shelving does as far as saving space and the look, and it's also much more heavy duty than anything that Walmart or IKEA or whatever is going to sell, so it's just an all-around win. And it's just one of those things where I have to have all of the money in the world, all of the time in the world, and I always want someone that is good at carpentry to be doing it, and that is not me. I don't know the first thing about carpentry, but I know what I want. So I can draw it out, I can give it to somebody that I trust, and then I can have them build me whatever I need to build. So now that we are passing the center area of the sanctuary, we can get started on the Slipknot section, which is, hands down, the biggest section of the sanctuary. Not only do we have the wall, not only do we have the right side of the window, but we also have this crazy table that we brought from the old building, which will not be around for much longer because we have to do something. This is just absolutely insane. It is overflowing with stuff, and a lot of this stuff is just way too cool to not be getting all of the attention and the shine that it deserves. Like I just have stage used, all hope is gone female clown right there in a box, but you wouldn't really know it because it's surrounded by so much other stuff. So we definitely have to make a change to this, but we will talk about that a little later when we get to it. Right now we need to start on the left side of the stained glass, and that is going to be this little area right here, which is definitely a Slipknot adjacent area. I wouldn't say that this is like a full-on crazy Slipknot dedicated thing, and you guys will see what I mean when I hop up on the ramp and give you guys a better look at these shelves right here. So let's get up there and start on the wall. All right, actually, before we go up here, I want to show off this little section right here, and this is just a little Slipknot oddities section. I don't really know how to explain this. It's just a bunch of little cool stuff that maybe doesn't quite fit in or fit over on the wall or on various shelves, but I really like how this came together. It's all seemingly weird, random stuff, but it is all Slipknot centric. So first up, we've got the child mannequin with the West German clown on it. And a lot of people ask about this because they think it's silly and they don't really understand how this has ties to Slipknot, but it actually does because there is a photo of Clown holding one of these things, wearing the dude, along with another one that is wearing the Iowa clown. And I remember seeing that a long time ago and just thinking that it was very weird and unsettling. And I mean, this dude's stance right now is weird and unsettling. So that fits in that corner right there perfectly. And then that leads us to a bunch of other clown or Sid related things. And even the Sid related things are mostly clown related. So we've got the accurate self-titled keg with the accurate self-titled 666 stencil spray painted on it right there. We've got various clown dolls. This one was seen crucified on the front of Clown's drum kit during the Iowa cycle. And this is a kind of similar one to the one that he used during the self-titled era. The only difference between this one and the one that he used is the color of the suit, which I did think that this was the accurate suit at first, but now that I own the real deal, I can tell that that clown over there actually has orange on that side. It was just really hard to tell what you were looking at in that old footage. Seeing this thing on stage with all of the stage lights and halfway in the dark, you really couldn't tell. We also have some Roncinol lighter fluid, and this is the exact lighter fluid that Clown and Sid would use during the self-titled era to light the keg and stuff on fire during Scissors. So I thought that that was cool. We discovered that, and then I realized that they like sell it at the dollar store, so I thought that it would be nice to have a little display with the Roncinol right there. We've got Sid's Easter Unlimited skull. We have got the Sugar Loaf clown. This is Sid's clown, so this is the one that you guys see him come out on stage with. He's got it like hanging from a noose, and then he eventually burns it with the Roncinol lighter fluid. We've got the infamous early self-titled Jack-in-a-Box from the early self-titled promo photos, and then we've got this Hard Rock Ghost Glow replica sitting on a Hard Rock replica stand. So my buddy Joshua Everett's actually made some accurate stands to the stands that Corey's masks were displayed on at the Hard Rock Hotel out in Vegas, I do believe. And I have no idea what happened to the real deal stuff, but this thing is super cool, and I thought that it was rad that I eventually ended up with a Hard Rock replica mask to set up there. And that just kind of caps off the shape of this sort of quarter pipe side quest area, whatever you want to call it. And I think that everything everything over here fits really well. And I really do genuinely enjoy looking at this because this is about as Slipknot as it gets. And when I think of Slipknot, I think of the weird early self-titled randomness like this. So I really, really like this area, and I definitely had to make sure that it got some shine in this video because I don't think that we've ever really talked about it. And for me to love this stuff so much and have not talked about it so far, that just feels like an injustice. So shout out to this area. Now we can get on top of the mini ramp and take a look at this kind of weird Slipknot-esque wall, okay? Okay, so break time. I've got you guys back up on the tripod right now, and that is because I need to take a second. My arm and especially my hand are on fire and starting to cramp up because even though you guys have only been watching for, I assume, 20 minutes now, I've been in here filming this back to back to back, clip after clip for the better part of 2 hours because I'm an idiot. And even though it is and has been my job for quite some time to just talk on camera, most of the time I'm a moron and I just can't make words work good. So I've been holding this heavy ass camera setup for a while now with one hand and I just need a second. I know, I'm a big, strong, muscly, manly man, but for the sake of the video and you guys not seeing this for the rest of the time that you're watching, we're just gonna take a break. But it's okay because during the break, I want to talk to you guys about something that I know has been a burning question in your brain since the intro of this very video, and that is where I got this shirt and how you guys can get one for yourselves. I know you're sitting there thinking, you're like, dude, I love Stone Cold Steve Austin. I love the House of Masks. I want to look cool. I want to support my favorite mask collector's favorite mask collector and my favorite mask channel on YouTube. And I've got good news for you guys because I am actually selling this design as we speak over on my merch store. This is the newest design. This is my Stone Cold Steve Austin, Austin 316, FOM 316 tribute shirt. And the front is cool and it's very obvious what's going on here. But if you're not sold yet, don't worry because guess what? We've got the Smoking Skull FOM design on the back. Because we are real G's, we're not marks, we know what's going on. So, if you guys would like to drastically improve your life, if you guys would like to support the House of Masks, if you guys would like to immediately be more attractive to women because obviously girls care about wrestling and the House of Masks, I mean, duh. You guys can go grab one of these right now. I did just launch a brand new merch store. I have 3 designs over there right now. I am really, really happy with all of them so far, and I'm trying to be much more exclusive as far as designs go on this new merch store. And I will say that the quality of these shirts is crazy, crazy good. So they're pretty cheap, and they're really, really well done. I mean, I really like the material. The prints are great, and we've got color going on. So it's the real deal, and I would be very, very stoked if I saw you guys picking this stuff up, supporting the House of Masks, and wearing this stuff to Palefest, okay? So, with that being said, I think my arm and my hand feel a little bit better. Hopefully, after you guys go pick something up, my wallet will feel a little bit better, and all will be right with the world. So, let's go ahead and jump back into the video, okay? All right, so here we are on top of the Mini, about to take a look at this wall right here, directly to the left of the stained glass window, and this is where the Slipknot section officially starts. We have all sorts of Slipknot stuff over here, everything from unconverted originals on the top and the second from top row. We have this full line of imitator clowns, just various clown masks that were definitely inspired or just straight up ripped off of the original West German clown. We have a lot of real mold stuff, some stage use stuff, some vintage West Germans, some ghost glows. We got all the good stuff on that row. And then coming down here, we have some more Slipknot oddball stuff. We have some more random Slipknot memorabilia. We've got drum heads. We've got shoes. We've got all of my foam-filled jesters for now, because I'm always on the lookout to add more jesters to my collection. This is a pretty cool wall. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I do really like the way that it looks, and even though a lot of these masks don't really have anything to do with each other, aside from the fact that they are all kind of in the Slipknot family, I still think that it looks good. Like, if you walk to right here, and you see this right here, it just looks sick. It just looks like a really cool old costume shop display or something. Something about the blue light hitting all of these vintage masks with the stained glass light in the back there. I really, really like the look of that, and I am pretty content with how this is so far. Now, I do plan on continuing shelving up the wall, but I also plan on adding some different framed items over here in the same manner that I talked about doing the framed items above Buckethead land. So I guess we'll have to see where we go. Maybe one more shelf. Maybe we'll take shelves all the way to the top. Maybe we won't do any more shelves at all, and I will only have larger framed items up here. But I do think that the shelves will end up going at least another shelf up, and then a lot of the frame stuff will end up above the main wall right here. And speaking of the main wall, we got this corner right here, which leads us into the main wall. So we'll talk about the corner real quick. We've got a couple of Joey symbols right here, along with our life-size Joey that we built a few years back. We've got this special windbreaker down there. That is not how that is going to be. I do plan on adding more to that corner and maybe even adding a light right above the Joey so it kind of stands out over here. There's a lot of different lighting things that I want to do in the sanctuary, but it's going to take us 40 years to get even remotely happy with how things are going to be in this spot. So now we can step off of the mini ramp and we can give you guys the full little tour. I say little as if it's not the biggest area in the sanctuary. We can do a full walkthrough of the main wall, the Slipknot wall, the biggest collection in the sanctuary, and probably the reason that you guys are here watching this video right now. So let's hop down and let's go take a look at the main wall. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the moment that you've all been waiting for, the wall. And this is pretty self-explanatory. This is my Slipknot mask collection, or at least the majority of my Slipknot mask collection. This is where most of my Slipknot masks live, aside from a few exceptions. Now, obviously, we have some stuff on this table, as I mentioned earlier in the video, and I do have a couple of Slipknot-related masks out in the studio area. For instance, I used to have my first mask ever, my original BCD that sat on that red head right there on that shelf, but now it lives on my editing bay alongside the stage-used 25th anniversary gold BCD. I like to keep those guys together, and I like to keep them at my editing bay, so every time I sit down to make a new video, I can look right at those, and they just kind of represent what this is and has been and has become and what it's all about. It's just a really, really nice reminder that what I am doing is changing things. I mean, I've quite literally changed the game on mask collecting forever, but I've also done a lot of things in my life that I never really would have believed. Like, you guys know the story. If you're here watching this, there's a good chance that you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So I don't need to focus too much on that, but there are a few exceptions as to what Slipknot masks aren't in this room, and more specifically aren't even in the Slipknot mask section. I also have my favorite vintage West G out there in the studio area, and that's mostly just because there isn't room in here for all of my vintages at this point. But yeah, I keep my favorite one out there because it's just nice to look at, and since it doesn't fit on the shelf anyways, it's probably for the best that it's sitting out there by the desk, just safe and sound, and eventually it will come in here and live. I'll probably get a case for that one, honestly, and he will end up going on whatever becomes of this table, because we do plan on ripping this thing out and building just a mega structure that is just the craziest, coolest shelving unit that you guys have ever seen. So I will focus a little more time right here to explain to you guys what's going on. We do have a few little different subsections. As you can see, the V-Man section is not doing too good, but who cares? We've got the Alloy and J section. We have got the kind of unused prototype section, which none of these guys are displayed right now, and I will change that, but if I'm getting mannequin heads, they're usually dedicated to various masks that just are a little more important to me, or a little more like right in your face. Like, that is just fine for right now. We also have some modern day replicas down here on the bottom, and then we go into the member shelves. So we have member sections. We have Craig's section down here. We've got Cuddles, we've got Chris Fain, and then eventually down there we've got Foff's section. Right above that we've got the Paul Gray section, we've got the Mick Thompson section, we've got the James Root section, we've got a nice long shelf full of Sid Wilson masks all the way down to the end, where we eventually have the newest new guy down there, and then above that we've got the Clown section. That is yet again another full row. We've got the Joey section, we have got the Corey section, and then right up top, we've got the oddballs, which I do need to get up there and kind of rearrange and add some too. I can't seem to get this oddball right here to stay up there. It's just too big and too thick and stands too far out away from the wall. So I've got to figure something out with that. I don't know if maybe I can just get a separate stand to kind of put in front of that mini split on the side or whatever, but I guess that's for a different video. But yeah, dude, that is the gist of the main wall. That is the gist of the Slipknot mask wall. And now we can head right over here to the table and talk a little bit about the table, because for the most part, everything on this table is also Slipknot related. And the original idea with this table, way back when I built it at the old building, was to put special Slipknot pieces on this. So this was going to be the table that had a lot of the stage used stuff or the real mold stuff or whatever, and now it's kind of honestly just become a catch-all. So there is really special stage-used items, there's a full bust set, and then there's this random, extremely inaccurate Craig mask. We've got stage-used SIDS, which this guy fell over, I guess. I haven't even noticed that. Anyways, I'll get that taken care of. We've got real mold Joey stuff. We've got the Joey snare. We've got the prototype dreads that Pfaff gave me at Sonic Temple. We've got the official Sid the Third Trash Bag Ghost BCD. We got all kinds of stuff over here, and it just isn't sitting right with me. So I thought, you know what? Let's just take this whole thing out of here. Let's get rid of this entire setup, and let's build a mega structure, and it will house everything. There will be room for all of these big glass display cases. There will be room for the guitars. There will be room for the busts. We will have infinite room with this to display a lot of the stuff, and then it won't look so chaotic. It'll look like it's supposed to have been built for all of this stuff. And I'm not going to show you guys my blueprints, if you will, for right now, because when we do get back into the weekly Wednesday update videos, I think that that is going to be the main focus of at least a few of those videos, and it will kind of be its own thing. But trust me when I say that what I'm dreaming up is insane, and it will definitely change the entire look of the sanctuary, and I'm not so sure that this will be the focal point anymore. I think that when you walk in, your eyes might immediately go over to the super shelf that we are building over here. So yeah, just a quick walkthrough real quick to show you guys exactly what's sitting on here. A lot of my special Sid stuff. We've got the official Crow in the Jar over there. We got the full bus set. We have my studio used James Root guitar. He recorded the Gray chapter with that. A couple special Joeys, some stage-used clowns. We've got my real Crow in a Jar. We've got the clown dolls. We got the little Jay Weinberg corner right here, which is getting drowned by some Halloween hunting scores that I've just had sitting up there because I want to keep them out and away from anything that could squish them. But obviously that's not the place for them right now. And then down here, we've got my mail. So anything that I'm doing unboxings on, whether it is something that I have purchased, something that an artist sent me, or the fan mail that people send in for Mailbox Mondays, sits over here, kind of out of the way and out of eyesight. That way it's not just I mean, it is cluttery, but you don't really see it when you're standing on the other side. I mean, obviously I just showed you guys that, but yeah, for the most part, this is stuff that will all eventually get opened on camera for the channel, whether it's a Mailbox Monday or a regular unboxing. And then once we go beyond that, we are up on the stage and we have officially entered the Gwar section, which is one of, if not the most complete section in the building. And that's because I really don't touch on Gwar too much anymore. And even though this is a mess right now, we're going to work around it, and we'll probably start down on this end and work our way back this way. Why? I don't know. I just decided that that's what we're going to do, probably because I don't want to tiptoe through this stuff right here. So let's go down here. We'll get started on the Gwar section, and the Gwar section kind of starts with a different section. That's the Cancer Christ section. And the Cancer Christ section kind of starts with these three random life-size mannequins. So I guess we'll talk about these first, huh? All right, hold on. Time out. We got to take another break, and I'm sorry, but not really, because I'm just trying to help you out here by reminding you guys that I am still doing the monthly mask giveaways over on my Patreon account, which means that for just $5 a month, not only will you get access to all of the awesome perks and rewards that I offer over on Patreon, but you will also automatically be entered to win a new mask every month on the first of the month. And this month specifically is a very, very special month for those monthly mask giveaways. Why? Well, not only will the winner of this month's giveaway be walking away with a brand new mask, but they will actually have the option to choose from 3 different masks. And those 3 masks are as followed. We have this beautiful The Insofar J. Weinberg mask, and this is a really good mask straight out of my collection. We also have this beautiful self-titled Jim Root mask. Once again, another beautiful mask straight out of my collection. And then we have the kicker, because this month we have a mystery mask, and I'm not going to give you guys any hints. I'm not even going to tell you if this thing is Slipknot related or not. Just know that if you win this month's giveaway, if your name is the one that is randomly selected on the giveaway live stream on the 1st of March, then you get to choose between the mystery mask, the J mask, and the Jim mask. So, I repeat, it is super easy and super cheap. You just go over to my Patreon, become a $5 or higher member, and you are automatically entered to win one of these 3 beautiful masks, and it'll be the mask of your choice. So, with that being said, let's get back to the video and wrap this thing up. All right, so as we make our way over into the Gwar section, we can quickly talk about these 3 seemingly random life-size displays right here. We've got a ghost display, a Mudvayne display, and a Bohatska display, and these guys are sitting here right before we go into the Cancer Christ and eventually the Gwar section. And the reason that these guys are over here chilling pretty much by themselves, because they don't have anything to do with each other, and I don't really have a section for any of these things, is because I just needed to get them out of the way before the church warming party. How many times have you heard that in this video? Well, that is exactly why these guys are over here, just kind of out of the way, but still on display. These are all very cool items that have kind of a lot of history, or at least some significance with the channel. So I definitely want them to be displayed, even though I don't like Ghost anymore. That is like the OG Papa Emeritus get up. I had this thing put together in 2013, way back in the good old days, and it's just so significant for the House of Masks, and there are so many memories tied to that thing, and I'm really proud of it. So even though I'm not a Ghost guy anymore, that thing is just incredible, and it's always had a place at the House of Masks. And then we have Greg's stage-used Dr. Fuckoff suit from a 2001 tour that Mudvayne did, alongside the prototype Greg headpiece that I designed for them a few years ago. I have the prototype, and hopefully I'll have the real deal here at some point, and I can start throwing together a legitimate Mudvayne collection area, because I do have quite a few Mudvayne pieces, including the rest of the scrubs from the tour that these scrubs came from. Like I said, I will hopefully have the stage-used headpiece here soon to go with the prototype, and I have a few other things that are kind of tucked away in totes underneath the mini ramp. So I definitely think that a Mudvayne section will be in order eventually. Not sure when, not sure where, not sure how, but I am sure that it will happen someday. And we probably have a little Bohatska display as well, because I have this stage-used Bohatska robe that I waited for so long to get. Like, I wanted one of these since probably 2017 or something, and I was finally able to lock one down and make that happen last year, and I'm pretty stoked about that. And again, I don't have a whole lot of Bohatska stuff, but this thing is just so cool that it definitely deserves its own dedicated display. So between that and a few other very cool stage-used Bohatska items, that we will have a nice little Bohatska area at the House of Masks one day. It's just hard to say when, how, or where that is going to happen. But I definitely needed to have these guys up and displayed, because they are important, and the last thing that I want to happen to them is some sort of destruction, whether that's like getting moldy in a box in some storage area, or mice chewing them up, or just having them fall apart without my knowledge. I don't want that. These things are important. So over here, they will stay until we put them somewhere else, I guess. I don't know. So there's those guys. All right, so now we can step up onto the stage and take a look at what will be our final section from the sanctuary, and that is going to be the Gwar section. And the Gwar section has a couple little subsections. All the way down on that end, we have a little ghoul section. And then obviously this first area here, right here on this wall, is Cancer Christ and Squid Pisser, which have extremely heavy ties to Gwar. I think that probably most people know about Cancer Christ because of Gwar, and now there is a member of Cancer Christ and of Squid Pisser in Gwar, and I think that he is like everyone's favorite member, and that, of course, is Tommy. So we have this full Cancer Christ section, which I obviously believe to be the biggest Cancer Christ collection in the world. I guess being friends with the band really paid off here because I have just about everything that you could have. I mean, pretty much all the stage use stuff that's out there is in my collection, minus a couple guitars, minus a couple little random backup masks that might have been used for a show or two. But I have the main stuff. I have the main stage used masks. I have St. Anthony's stage used robe. I have a bunch of cymbals and gear, guitars, whatever, you name it, I pretty much have it. And then, of course, I have some Squid Pisser stuff down here as well, which I am super, super prideful about because I've been pushing Squid Pisser and Cancer Christ since I found out about them, and it's crazy to see just how big of an impact Cancer Christ made for their short little run. And now watching Tommy do Squid Pisser is just so cool, and Tommy is just such a good dude. And this little Cancer Christ Squid Pisser section really kind of transitions very, very nicely into the Gwar section because of this one specific piece. This guitar right here, that is a Tommy stage-used Gwar and Cancer Christ guitar that I was lucky enough to obtain a couple of years ago straight from Tommy. We were outside of a show, actually after we shot the first interview for Grodius Maximus, and this was after the show. Tommy was like, "Hey, you still want to buy that guitar?" And I was like, "You're damn right I do." So we figured it out, and that was the perfect transition piece between the Cancer Christ and Squid Pisser Tommy projects and Gwar. And then we have the Gwar section. And this is, as I mentioned earlier in the video, the most complete section here in the sanctuary. And what I mean by that is this is pretty much done and will be done, at least for the time being. So let me explain a little bit better. There are a few reasons as to why I'm saying that this is done and it is the most complete section in the sanctuary. And the first reason is because pretty much everything that I own that is related to Gwar is out on display right now in this collection. So aside from maybe a few posters that I just haven't gotten framed and hung up yet, everything Gwar related that I own is out on display, whether it's all the way down there, whether it's along this wall, or whether it's down here in this corner. I would say that this is hands down the most out there collection that I have as far as not having boxes full of merchandise just sitting around or in storage or what have you. I would say that 99% of my Gwar items are out on display in this section. Now, another reason why I'm saying that this is the most complete section in the sanctuary is because I really kind of don't collect it anymore. So I'm not adding new stuff to it all the time or even relatively often. I mean, we are adding more Buckethead stuff lately to our Buckethead collection than we are our Gwar collection. And I think that there's a couple reasons for that as well. Not only did I go crazy for a couple years just buying up every single thing that I could possibly desire, every stage used item, all the old school memorabilia, old figures, VHS tapes, comics, everything that you could think of. I was on a Gwar spree, and I think I ran the market a little dry because I know that the rest of the stage-used Gwar stuff that's out there probably isn't going to be sold at any point in the near future, and hopefully, if it is, I am the one that obtains it. But honestly, I've got a lot of great stuff. I really, really love this collection, and of course, I want to add stuff to it pretty much as often as I used to be doing that, but that's just not where we are, and I'm so content with the items that I have that it doesn't get to me too much. It doesn't stress me out. Now, the third reason that I'm not constantly buying and obtaining stuff, aside from the fact that I pretty much dried the market up on myself, whoops, the third reason is because current Gwar just kind of doesn't do it for me. I mean, really, the only thing about modern Gwar that I enjoy is Tommy as Grodius, and other than him, I'm just really not feeling it lately. And that's the music videos, that's the merch that they're releasing, that is the look of the band. It's become far, far too clean and polished and professional, and I like my Gwar really gross. I'm talking early 90s, super, super obscure, very not good Gwar. It just worked. That is what I think of when I think of Gwar. That's obviously what I try to collect. I mean, we've got him right here in the coffin, and this is a prime example of like a perfect Gwar item from the perfect era of Gwar. So that is why I say that this is the most complete section in the sanctuary. I've got everything out, and I'm really not super interested in acquiring new stuff at the moment. So for the time being, this is it, man. And we have some stuff to add. Like I said, I've got some posters that I'd like to get up. But before I do that, I want to finish this shelf right here that goes underneath that mini split. And then I want to line a real thick shelf above the television to kind of separate this section from whatever is going to go up between that and the ceiling. And I'm really, really looking forward to that because I think it's going to help make this room feel fuller, I guess, and kind of bring everything together a little more. As you can see, it is a pretty big blank space up there above the Gwar stuff. So I think that having a nice deep shelf that almost gives it like a second story feel is going to be super, super cool. But yeah, dude, this is the Gwar section. So I would say that a good 85% of these Gwar props and masks are stage used pieces, which is pretty cool. I have some stuff that nobody else will ever have because I plan to die with it. And I just love my Gwar stuff, man. This was a really, really fun time for the channel and for myself personally, just as a collector. I have some stuff that I never ever dreamed that I would have. And when I think back to those memories of unboxing those pieces, or if I happen to get a comment on one of these old unboxing videos and I sit there and watch it for a second, I can relive that joy of getting some of these pieces for the first time and just how big of a deal it was for me as a fan and as a collector. So I love the Gwar section. I will always love Gwar, but for right now, I'm just good on it, and I'm good with focusing my time and energy and my money into other collections and just the church as a whole, because half the fun of a new place is making it the place that you want it to be and the place for your collection, which is exactly why I had to get the place. So yeah, dude, just a brief summary on the state of the Gwar thing. I get questions about it a lot, like when are we going to do another Gwar unboxing or what have you, and the truth is, I don't know. I just don't know, but I'm still super happy with my Gwar collection, and I will always love Gwar, so there's that. Now, that is the last section. We do have some random stuff over here. I showed you guys the mailboxes earlier. We've got some suits that I'm trying to figure out where to display for the Slipknot collection. We've got this giant fallen House of Masks shoe. This is actually part of a giant AJ Good caricature that Creature of the Night Studios made for Palefest 1. I still have the head over there, but these were the only two pieces that I kept. They had like a body, arms, both feet, and I ended up keeping one of the shoes and the head because they're so cool and I love them and I want to keep them, obviously. But if I'd kept every single piece of it, we just wouldn't have anywhere to put it because these things are absolutely massive. We have the Palefest 1 headstone right here, along with my casket with a life-size me in there. And then we have another headstone down here on this side. This was actually sent in on Mailbox Monday, and we were able to track Phil down from that episode to have him make headstones for all the vendors at Palefest 1. And then we just have some more random miscellaneous stuff on the back side of this table. Some special real mold Slipknot masks. We've got some stage used Grimm stuff. And then we've got like the line of take off your face masks from Slipknot. So I need to clean all of this up and get everything in order. But like I said, I am going to be disassembling this table very soon, so I might just start packing this stuff up for right now until we can get to taking this thing down and then rebuilding the mega shelf. But that pretty much does it for the sanctuary. You guys just saw pretty much everything that I had to show you in here. This is the current state of the sanctuary, and now we get to change it up. So the next time that you see this will be hopefully in a weekly Wednesday update, and then maybe in another year we can do a full sanctuary update video and compare it to this one to show you guys just how different everything has become. So before we go, and before this video ends, I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. What is your favorite part of the sanctuary? Is it the Slipknot section? Is it the table? Is it the mini ramp? Is it Buckethead? Is it something that I haven't even shown off, like Nubbins on the couch? Let me know down in the comments what your favorite part of the sanctuary is, and I'll meet you guys down there for a general discussion, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say, because I have a feeling that some of the answers are going to surprise and intrigue me. So yeah, dude, I went ahead and threw you guys back up on the tripod one last time to end this video, and I want to thank you guys very much for being here and for watching this entire video. I know that it was a long one, but it was long overdue, and I wanted to go as in-depth as I possibly could without going a little too overboard. And I feel like this is probably a pretty good video. So thank you guys for being here. I really hope that you have enjoyed it. There is apparently this new thing called hyping a video down below. I don't know, maybe it's not new and I'm just unk status and I'm just now hearing about it, but if you guys could do me a favor and do all of the cliche YouTube stuff, like leave a comment, leave a like, make sure that you're subscribed, and now I want to kind of test the waters with this hyping thing, so just hype the video if you don't mind. I want to see what it does. I would really like for this video to do well, and yeah, I think that that is pretty much all I have to say. So, until next time, this has been AJ Good here at the House of Masks, telling you to say no to drugs and alcohol, and yes to creating your own sanctuary. And I'll see you guys in the next one.